That's odd. I don't remember locking this.
You wouldn't happen to remember if my aunt had a wind-up toy monkey at the yard sale?
Oh, not a cherished childhood memory now, was it?
No, 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 no!
Everything okay up there?
Yeah, everything's fine.
The Monkey, the newest release from Osgood Perkins, based on a short story written by Stephen King, of all people. Perkins actually wrote and directed this film as well, and it's his second movie that I'm reviewing. His last one that I reviewed was the Nicolas Cage hit from last year, Longlegs, and let me tell you that this movie is wildly different in everything from tone to effects to story to gore. Longlegs was a slow mystery thriller about satanic mind control deaths, but this one is one of the Flying Dutchman's knots.
The monkey chain! The monkey's fist! The monkey!
The Monkey is a horror comedy that is as far away from tense crime thriller as you can get. It's just a little funny because the tone is so different and the style of directing is also very, very strange. Which Longlegs was strange, but this is also just very weird. The only way I can think of to describe this is if modern Wes Anderson directed a horror movie, I guess. If that makes sense, there's a lot of middle ground and people fronting the camera, staring directly at it at times, which is okay. There's also a very trippy dream sequence and just some bizarre visuals that tie into that, so I can definitely say that it's like a Wes Anderson film, kind of. The humor is very dry, very tongue-in-cheek, and focused primarily on shock value. I do think it's a great time, but the more I think about it, the more I feel that it wouldn't be as effective on a rewatch. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself, so let me talk about that first. What is this movie even about? It's a monkey. How weird can it be? The Monkey follows a man named Ricky and his twin brother Hal. When they discover a strange wind-up monkey toy their estranged father left them, they discover that every time the thing is played with, someone dies in a very strange way. When the monkey goes missing, the two brothers, now estranged themselves, must race to find the demonic item as chaos and deadly freak accidents ravage their town, while Ricky is trying to protect his own son. Honestly, this movie feels way more in line with Final Destination, given that people are dying in strange ways, and how the film just becomes a waiting game to see just how over the top and wild the next death will be. That does work, especially with the upcoming Final Destination that should be out this year. I've never been a big Final Destination fan, but if you look at them like comedies and just see how wild people will die in them, then yeah, it's fun. I like that. Either way, the deaths in The Monkey are the highlight of the movie. They are gory. Like ridiculously so, like way over the top Evil Dead layers of gore. It helps when the world itself even treats the deaths like some sort of spectacle. Everyone is very excited to see who the next victim is and how they'll meet their end, not just the audience, but the people in the movie as well. And the world itself even obliges with people being remarkably squishy in this movie, is the only way I can explain that. Anything and everything will kill someone in some fantastic way, probably through a bloody explosion of body parts after some Rube Goldberg machine tries to set it all up. All of it is very tongue-in-cheek and played for laughs. They're not meant to be taken seriously whatsoever. At one point, there's a very weird idea where just dropping a bowling ball from several inches above someone's head will kill them for some reason. I don't think that's how that works, but sure, why not? Even the reactions to the deaths from people close by, except for maybe one particular death, are very funny and dry. A lot of times, these people should be deeply traumatized because they're covered in gore and body parts of someone else, and instead, they're most of the time like, well, that happened, and move on. even when absolutely covered in someone else's blood. It is wild and fun and had me absolutely dying from laughter in the theater from just how ridiculous it all was, and how characters responded to it as well is very, very funny. Some of these characters make absolutely no sense with what they say in certain moments, but just how it's delivered is so funny. It's absolutely hilarious on a first watch. But the more I think about it, the more I feel like the punchlines just wouldn't land right on a second viewing. I doubt I'll be chuckling as much if I were to watch it again, for example. And I do want to watch it again, just to get a good look at how a lot of these practical deaths were done. Unfortunately, though, there are some obvious CG deaths and gore, which is a little bit of a bummer. I love the practical stuff, and the CG here just looked way too obvious and very unconvincing. I feel like it was an afterthought because they couldn't get convincing practical effects done, which, I would have at least liked to see something practical, but oh well. Usually there is a practical after shot of the carnage, but the couple of on-screen CG deaths just really look meh by comparison. It's a choice. There's only a couple, most of them are practical, love that, but the couple of CG deaths just look very strange. Speaking of, there are also some very strange casting choices as well, not by our main man Theo James, who has to play double time as both Ricky and his twin Hal, adopting very different personalities. I think he does an absolutely fantastic job as both of them and really nails the dichotomy between the two brothers and how they act differently from each other. It's really well done. The same could also be said for his younger selves, played by Christian Convery. I haven't seen what Convery was in before, but I know he was the lead in the Sweet Tooth show on Netflix, so cool to see him getting bigger roles. And he did such a good job as both twins that I very much expect to see him in more future roles. Just really good there. However, I am absolutely baffled by a couple of the bigger names that seem like they were added in on an afterthought. Like, why is Elijah Wood in this? He has maybe 5 lines and only 1 scene, and you don't even get to see him die. Same goes for Adam Scott. He's playing the entire cold open and is supposed to be the boys' father, but after the opening we never see him again. He's just out of the movie. I feel like both of these characters could have been played by anyone for how small the actual roles are, so I feel like they were given to these 2 bigger names purely to get their names on the poster and sell this movie as more of a surrealist comedy, given that they both don't really work in horror. Elijah Wood has done horror before, but Adam Scott is kind of more focused on comedy, especially since Adam Scott's character is never named outside of the credits and doesn't feel connected at all to the main plot. It definitely feels added on like an afterthought, and he is actually important to the main plot, so that's something. And Elijah Wood's character is added more as an exposition dump than anything else too. It's a bit of a shame. They're both really good actors and more than capable of meeting the tone of this film. Maybe something about Scott's character, since he is supposed to be the boy's father, could have been added in, given the film has a very odd theme of deadbeat fathers looming over different families and how one of the brothers is trying to be a good father but is also deadbeat. It's just a little strange. I feel like that could have been explored more as well, but well, we got what we got. I think this film is a lot of fun, but if I were to improve it slightly, yeah, I'd include the father character in more. I'd give the film a bit more finality than it has too. As things go, it leaves things open-ended. It is a fun film, so it could jump to a sequel, so who knows? Maybe we'll get something else in the future if it does well. I could definitely see where this could go, but as it stands, I think it's fine as a one and done. There is an after credits scene, but it's not connected to the film at all. It's literally just a teaser trailer for Perkins' next film titled Keeper. I don't know anything else about it. I know it's out later this year, but he didn't actually write that one too, and it seems to have a much more serious tone than The Monkey, so I don't know. I guess we'll see about that when it actually comes out. Still, I think The Monkey is a very solid SCP film. It could use a couple additional scenes and less CG mayhem, but the practical mayhem is fantastic and gross, and the shock value is wonderful. I love how squishy and easily explodable people are, and if you're a fan of Final Destination or just like seeing people die in ridiculous ways as a laugh, you'll love this movie. I wish it had a little more substance to dig into, but as it stands, it's a great film and a great addition to the horror comedy genre. Definitely give it a watch if you like that sort of thing. So ultimately, The Monkey gets an 8 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. It's been a while since we got a proper horror comedy out here. I was kind of hoping Evil Dead Rise might have some horror comedy bits to it, but it was more straight, which is fine. But we didn't really get anything that was supposed to be really funny. Maybe Megan, I guess, but this one is just a really good way to start out the year. Unfortunately, it's been a very bad week for me personally. I don't want to get into that on YouTube, so I'm trying to push through this, but this is still a very enjoyable movie. I think it's very funny. The shock value is very high. There's a lot of, oh my god, they did not say that, or why did this happen? That makes absolutely no sense, but it's just there to be funny or ridiculously over the top. Like I said, everyone is so squishy. I feel like if you poke someone right, you'll break their back or something. Everyone dies in such a silly way in this. It's just wild and fun. I really enjoy that. I do kind of hope it gets a sequel, just because I want to see what else Perkins can do for these deaths and how it can top the first one. So that could be fun. I'm not really looking forward to Final Destination. I've never been a really big fan of the Final Destination movies, and the trailer we got for this one looks a little odd. The tattoo artist getting caught by his nose ring it's interesting, I guess, but I don't know. Like I said, I've never been a really big fan of Final Destination. I can appreciate them for what they are, but it's just never been for me. Maybe we'll see with this new one. Other than that, what did you guys think about The Monkey? Did you really enjoy it? Did you laugh your ass off? That pool scene is wild. Anyway, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video, and yeah, that's all I got for you now. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just